Okay, ladies and gents, here in front of me you see, and you may have seen on some other people's videos as well, is the new ABS MK2 from GJ. And I've been waiting for this kind of a pick for quite a long time, and obviously, you know, he already had one of these and I did a video on it quite a while ago. Brilliant tool. Even some iterations came out for it which made the magnet going in and out much easier. I never had a problem with the magnet after that. There is, however, one problem with these picks, which most of them have, and you won't know about it until it's too late. And what I'm talking about is in these locks, they have these trap pins here, which is just one pin with a spring coiled around it, which fires into the key pin holes once we have turned around to that point. Now, if we have one of those key pins at the shortest key pin that it can be, then those trap pins can enter the plug completely with the key pin, just leaving the spring between the shear line to stretch around the lock. And unfortunately, you won't know about it until it's too late, when it has already happened and you know you feel like you got the lock picked, but actually it'll go tight on you, and then at that point the lock is done for. You need to drill it out or find, you know, another way of getting that lock out the door. It'll no longer work with the key. So that's a nightmare, especially beyond warrants. You don't want that happening. So why does it happen? Other tools and GJ's previous tool, the key blade on the pick didn't interact with the pins at all. In these ones you can see that they are actually cut to the deepest depth, so it will hold the pins there at that deepest cut. That stops the trap pin from entering the core with that short pin. It leaves it caught in the shear line like it should be. This brings another little problem, and that would be that with them being cut to the deepest depths, if the pin in the lock is at that depth, then passing, if we have a look at the tip here, passing our wire past it becomes a problem, and we can end up oversetting the pin just by passing it. I believe, let's pop this in a lock and pop my phone in a holder. I do believe that this is the design of the tool, why it's cut in half and we can move our pick around here. If we do have that situation where we need to pass a pin that is already at its height while it's sat resting on the key blade there, we can lift the wire out from its guide, and you see it's actually funnel shaped there, to maybe move our wire around like this, and that'll allow us, like with hand picks, to be able to move the tip of our wire around the pin. Most other 2-in-1s you cannot do that, so that's brilliant. If that's the design or not, I'm not sure, but it's how it's working, so it's really good. Keep it out for a second. In the kit comes the pick itself, a little picking arm, 5 different blades depending on the position of the magnets, and this feeler for finding the position of the magnet in the first place. So we've gone over this in other videos as well. It's exactly the same, so I won't touch on it too much, but we count the pins, 1, 2, drops in, and there's a big gap for 3, 4, 5. So as luck would have it, we've loaded this one in already. So that's magnet in position 3. Okay, so no loading magnets into the lock or any of that anymore. We pop the pick in and we begin to pick and already it's gone. So we've got, perhaps maybe we're on the inner pins. Yeah, there we go. So now we've turned around and we've got caught on the trap pins. The magnet's in position 3, which is where one of the traps is, so 1 and 5 would only be the ones we have to pick. 5 seems solid. There was 1. Lock goes round, and actually, because we're already holding it over 1, it's probably stopped that trap pin from firing. And there we go, we've already picked 1 lock all the way around, and we've not had to get magnets in and out. Okay, so just to keep the length of the video short, I have somewhere around here, not too sure, maybe this maybe this one, we'll have to check. We can actually see that in this particular one, the trap pin has already gone. So the problem will have probably happened, and I've gutted this lock out and put it back together again with the trap pin. But you see it's gone, it's no longer there. So that's happened to that one. Let's find one here. I have to just count and try and see where the magnet is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so magnet in position 5 for this one. That's the dreaded position when we were dealing with putting the magnets in and out. So, because it has a chance of getting caught on the cam at the back, and we can lose the magnet in there. It's really hard to get it back, etc., etc. Like I say, I personally didn't have much issues with it after the second parts came out for the previous tool. However, we will simply load in this picking tip with the magnet in the ends, and we no longer have to worry about losing a magnet in the lock. Okay, tighten those up nice and tight, and then slot our wire back in, and off we go. Tool in all the way up to the line, which is marked on the blade here, so we know when we're fully inserted into the lock. So no problem getting the wire in, there we go. So remember, we have a magnet on the 5th position, therefore that will catch that back pin. We don't need to pick it, and the same for when the trap pins come around, we won't need to pick that position. Okay, we got a nice click there. I'll just do that again. I'm just moving my pick forwards and backwards, and it gets caught on position 3. So that's a good indicator that that's the pin that needs to be picked. There we go. Nice click on 3. Here's 4. Nice click on 4. Pin 1. Having a hard time. There we go. Climbed onto pin 1, and we got a turn. So just the inner pins left now. 3, 4, and around we go onto the trap pins. And remember, we don't need to pick 5, we just have 3 and 1. In this case, it was just 3, and around we go. Caught on the trap pins again. Pin 3, back straight, locks open, magnets out, good to go. Now, like just the same with the other one, it's more difficult to pick in the other direction. We've picked it clockwise in this video because it's just to make the video a bit quicker. It is more difficult the other way, but definitely possible. Yeah, that's it really. There are other tools. There is, well, one mainly, another tool which has a full blade like this to stop the traps from jumping into the core like that and happening. And that's been out for quite a while. It is, however, less quality than this. They just throw in lock picks like this in the kit. They use that as well to pick the lock and blah blah blah. This is from a cheap Chinese set. It just seems kind of thrown together and cheaply made, and the price tag is much larger than for the likes of this tool from GJ. So I've been avoiding buying that other one for that purpose, and now that this one's come out, brilliant, time to get myself the upgraded version. ABS's, I'll now look forward again to finding one on a door that I have to open. I hope it's been informational for you. Thanks for watching and sticking around to the end. Cheers.